Radio Canada. Okay, let's continue setting up the truck. This time, we're going to focus on the floor. In the previous episode, we looked at the lighting and the surveillance camera. The floor, we take everything out, but we keep it, since I'll use it as a template for the future floor, which will be made of plywood. I'll then cover it with Inno or aluminum plates. We'll see. The plan is to take it apart and check its condition, but I have no idea if it's good or bad. And then to place 2 rails on each side. In terms of width, it's going to be at least 50, maximum 60 or 70 centimeters. And I'm going to make a ramp. I explained it in the previous episode. Along the entire length of the truck, I pull out the ramp and I can go up with a wheelbarrow, the rolling platforms on the crates, and the toolboxes. If you have a small motorcycle, it can be useful. So the ramp, and I also want this ramp to serve as a workbench. So we'll see about that later. Right now, what interests me is taking apart the floor, placing the rails, seeing what I can do in terms of width, and then fixing the rails, building the structure, welding it. We're going to do everything together. We need to position it, find every possible trick to secure it, because it will have to be secured when it's inside and also when it's out. So we'll look at all of that. Right now we're dismantling things to see what's inside.
But these bananas look great. How can I take things apart if these tigers... Come here. Moi.
Now that the floor is clean, I can add the 2 rails on each side, determine the needed width, and build the structure. We'll do it together. I'll show you the rail we want to use. I showed it to you last week. It's this type of rail. Basically, it's used to make sliding doors. You run rollers inside it. Depending on your inspiration, you can use them for whatever you want. For me, it's going to be to create a ramp. I'll put them along the entire length of the floor. Only the ramp will be shorter so I can close the doors. And I'm not going to attach them directly to the floor. I'm going to put a wooden base, some compressible foam tape to separate the rail from the floor. Otherwise, it's going to create vibrations everywhere. And you can't just drill anywhere in the floor. There are plans and templates online depending on your type of van. They'll show you where to drill. I'm going to use the holes that are already there. There are about 10 of them. so I'm going to drill right there. But if you have any doubts, go online, type in template, drilling, floor, and your van's model. You'll find what you need. So now my goal is to figure out the width that works for me, then we'll build the structure.
Alright,
We're ready to start cleaning and cutting the steel bars, which are 3 meters long. They're square tubes, 30 millimeters on each side and 3 millimeters thick. For what I'm going to do, that's more than enough. So, I'm working directly on the floor. I use plasterboard and a board to shield the tiles from welding sparks to prevent damage. I also need to clean the bars since they're very dirty. If I run my finger over them, gasoline or metal degreaser, both work very well. Just use whichever one suits you. And ideally, it's best to clean the bars now, because once the frame is done, you'll have to turn it every which way and get into the corners. You clean the bar in one go, and at least it's clean. You can handle it without getting your hands all dirty. Okay, so once it's cleaned, we're going to cut it. In the end, I've made my decision. My frame will be 2 meters 70 by 60. I didn't know whether to make it 50 or 70 at most. Alright, I'll split the difference, 60, that's very good. And for the length, 2 meters 70. So we clean it and then we cut. The cuts are done. I laid everything on the ground. That gives you an overview. 2 meters 70 by 60. 2 crossbars, that's more than enough. That gives me 1, 2, 3 sections where I'll put plywood. We're going to cut flat bars, so small scraps of flat iron that will be welded onto the uprights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 per section, and then I'll be able to screw the plywood directly, which will be flush with the uprights. This way, I can replace it if it gets damaged, since we're using wheelbarrows here. Rolling platforms with toolboxes on them, I'll definitely be working on those, so the plywood will get damaged and I'll be glad to be able to replace it. Here, it's open. On the other side, it's the same. The cross pieces are inside the uprights. And here, it's also open. It's the same on the other side. You'll see why soon. I'm adding threaded rods with nuts and washers. We'll see that in a moment. I'll show you the machine. You've seen it in action, but I haven't told you about it. It's a ProMac 49V. You have the link in the description. I'm really happy with it. I've had it for years. It cuts really well. It doesn't make any sparks. It's absolutely not a dangerous machine. I removed the cover to change the blade and never replaced it, so the blade sometimes jumps off. We loosen it here. We tighten it again once we've put the blade back on and it's ready to go. You can add some oil. I didn't put any this time. And as you saw, it cuts very well. It makes clean and straight cuts. So of course you have to adjust it. You place a square against the vise and the blade and you're good to go. So now the task is to deburr each tube where it's going to be welded. We clean all that up properly. We deburr. We tack weld and see how it turns out. Subtitles by Jeremy Diaz. Alright, the frame is done. I removed the drywall and the chipboard. I put the studs back in place. I'm picking up the shim again. Let's check.
Compared to my...
Montreuil and with the laser were good. Here as well. We'll check the other two. Perfect. And the last one. We're good. The clamps, the brackets, everything I used to make the frame, it's all in the description. So I could have used some clips, but for what I'm doing, these kinds of clamps are more than enough. Next step. A bar in this direction. So I'm going to take a square piece, cut it, make a U shape so the leg can fold into it. So plywood, plywood. The bar in this direction, plywood, plywood. We'll see about that soon. Okay, before drilling the angle iron, let me explain. I cut it again so it matches the height of the rail, because here we're using a 50mm angle iron, so obviously it sticks out. The goal is for it to be flush. We drill, we attach it to the rail, and then we drill, we attach it to the floor of the truck. So here we want to use a combination square to be able to mark where I need to drill. I could drill randomly, but I prefer to do things properly. So here we're going to set it to 25. 25mm, half of 50, there we go. We're good, let's move to the next one. So the advantage of a combination square is that you can use it as a gauge. You can also use it as a square, of course. So there's no need to measure again each time. I place the square and I know I'm at 50. There, we're good. We'll position it more or less in the middle. That's good. Now the other side, we'll put ourselves at half of 40 because the rail is 40. So I cut it again accordingly. We'll put ourselves at the halfway point. 2 centimeters. There, we're good. Next, we'll set it to 5. There, I've cut 10 centimeters. There we go. And there we go. And we keep going. And there you go. Now we drill. And so there you go, it's drilled. So here I drilled with the Hilti. That's more than enough. It's powerful enough to drill through angle iron. That's, I don't remember how thick this one is. 5 millimeters. I'll handle the others, then we'll go to the truck to assemble everything. Okay, the ramp is in the rails, it slides. I'll explain what I did, even though you pretty much got the idea. The 10mm melamine is to make up for this thickness of plastic that's in my way, since the purpose of the reinforcements is for them to press against it. But if I pull it out completely, the last reinforcement needs to press against this plastic, but I still need to be able to lower it all the way. And if I'm below this level, obviously it won't be able to lower all the way. So the goal is really to be either at the same level or slightly higher. So here I'm at the same level, it's perfect. At first I planned to weld the angle irons to the rails, but realized unbolting them would make future changes easier. Otherwise I'd have to grind them off, which isn't practical. We use compressible tape throughout to prevent vibrations, which works well. I put some here because this part presses against the truck doors when it's closed. So it locks the ramp in place. And I put a bottle here, so that means the ramp presses against this 40mm angle iron with sealing strip on it, and when the doors are closed it compresses everything and it doesn't move at all. So you don't just drill anywhere, I already explained to you. You have to carefully check under the truck, and the most important thing is right here. I'm getting down from the truck. Here, because I have the spare wheel, so I had lowered the spare wheel, I removed it. I screwed in, I cut off the heads of the screws. Now I'm at ease because the bolt goes through from underneath. I cut off everything that was sticking out. In other places, I'm comfortable since I've been checked and nothing's wrong. But around the spare wheel, if you drill directly and put in a self-tapping screw, you'll pierce the wheel and it'll be flat. Alright, the next step is still to work on this ramp since I'll need to make the leg. The goal is also to take the ramp out completely, deploy the leg and use it as a workbench. For now, if I pull it out to the first reinforcement and it rests on the plastic part I showed you, the one that's slightly higher than the floor, I have 90 centimeters. If I pull the ramp out to the second reinforcement, I have 1.8 meters, and if I want to use the full length, not the 2.7 meters completely, but let's say about 2.6 meters. I need to add support under it since the weight will make it fall. The small plastic part doesn't provide enough stability. So I need to make a support, and then I could use the full length of the ramp to place a plasterboard on it and work on it. Use it as a workbench. So that's the next task. We're also going to, well, it's behind you, you can't see it, it's non-slip plywood. So it's plywood with a brown non-slip side. We're going to cut it, insert it into the ramp. It'll be flush with the steel. And we're also going to make the truck floor out of regular plywood this time, since the goal is to cover it with linoleum afterwards. I could varnish or seal it, but varnish gets damaged. If I drop a tool on it, well, the varnish is ruined, but linoleum is more durable. I can clean or change it however I want. If the varnish is damaged, you must sand, revarnish and remove everything. No dust allowed, you know the process. Linoleum is much easier to maintain. We'll handle that after I choose the linoleum. I'll just go to a hardware store. I don't want to complicate things. Plywood as the base, we'll see. Let me show you. This is the screw I used to screw the melamine board directly into the floor. It's a self-drilling drywall screw or self-tapping screw. Call it whatever you want. It has a tip, so pre-drilling isn't needed. I'll show you the reference. You'll have the link in the description. It comes in several lengths. This one is 25, there's 35, 45, the box is over here. Here, the advantage, as I told you, is that there's no need to pre-drill. Also, truck sheet metal is quite thin. It drills through on its own, so you shouldn't use screws that are too long. Because here, for example, as I told you earlier, I removed the spare wheel, but if you use screws that are too long and you don't pay attention to the spare wheel, you'll end up piercing it and it would get punctured. So, you need to carefully mark where you're going to drill on the floor of the truck, but it's actually quite easy to do. For example, the bolts that hold the brackets, I managed to get my hands underneath. So I didn't film everything for you. To be honest, and I want to thank her, I asked my daughter for help, because on the driver's side, I don't have a side door. And my arm isn't long enough to reach around through the side door and be underneath. So I asked her to get in the truck and hold the 13mm wrench, and I was underneath with the drill. And it worked. She managed to hold the wrench. So I thank her. I give her a big kiss. She was my assistant for the day. But anyway, once again, drilling a floor is really not that hard. But marking where you need to drill, there's no point in putting in 50,000 fasteners. For me, With the melamine coated panels, I put in several because I didn't want there to be any vibrations. That's also why I used some sealing tape. I put it everywhere, even on the steel parts. If it touches the steel, the truck vibrates badly. Vibrations are always present, and the truck is always messy. There's always a broom or shovel banging against the metal. Even better if we can avoid the vibrations. We'll see each other next week. Like I said, we'll keep working on the ramp, the base, the plywood, and so on. If you enjoyed this video, as usual, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and share it. You know the drill. In the meantime, take care. See you next week.